Are you interested in hearing about a twisted little story about obsession taken to an extreme? Well, then stick around for my review of The Perfect Girlfriend. Well, hello everybody, my name is Roger and welcome to my channel, Roger's Reads. So today I'm doing a book review of a book entitled The Perfect Girlfriend by Karen Hamilton. And I actually have this book on ebook format, so I don't have the physical version of it, but I'll put the book cover up there. So, The Perfect Girlfriend. What can I say? Welcome to Crazy Town. So this is quite a twisted little psychological thriller about over-the-top obsession that follows our main character Juliet, a psychotic girlfriend, who is determined to get her ex-boyfriend Nate back, no matter what. In fact, her motto is, if you love someone, let them go. If they come back, they're yours. If they don't, make them. So, yeah, Juliet thinks of herself as the perfect girlfriend, and she just doesn't understand how Nate could have broken up with her 6 months earlier. So she embarks on this wild plan to get him back, and there's no such thing as going too far to get what she wants. So she's completely reinvented herself and has trained to become a flight attendant unbeknownst to Nate, who is an airline pilot. So a good part of the story revolves around Juliet being an air hostess, and I really loved how it worked in this story. She basically becomes a flight attendant in order to keep an eye on Nate, and so that she could be completely privy to his flight schedule. In fact, she manages to infiltrate herself into pretty much every part of Nate's life, all without him knowing it. Now, I actually thought that the airline backdrop here made for quite an original and refreshing setting. And I do recall that the author was a flight attendant, so we do get to experience her life, or the life of a flight attendant, firsthand. In fact, it often felt that we were on those flights right along with Juliet. So what's fun about this novel is that it's told entirely from Juliet's point of view. So we're in the head of someone who's obsessed and pretty much psychotic. So in this way, we're privy to her every thought, plan, and action. Now, I do have to say that this was a little bit uncomfortable, if not downright dark and disturbing, being in her head like we were, as we saw firsthand how she justified to herself every action she did. It was riveting and at the same time shocking to see just how far she was willing to go. Also riveting was the extent of her impressive investigative skills, which were all part of her ingenious and chilling plans. So I read this book in just 2 sittings because I could not put it down, especially once I reached about the halfway mark when things go super crazy and become incredibly fast-paced. It was about this time that we get the delightful, clever twist that I didn't see coming at all. And speaking of twists, this wasn't one of those twisty-turny novels with one surprise twist after another, but rather it was more of an in-depth, mesmerizing personality study of someone who is utterly bonkers. Now, I have to say that the Buddy Boiling Glenn Close in the movie Fatal Attraction had nothing on Juliet, aka Elizabeth, aka Lily, who takes creepiness to an entirely whole new level. In fact, just when you think that she couldn't go any more extreme with her wild schemes, she shockingly ups the ante. Her antics and her ferocity made me cringe more than a time or two, and it indeed reminded me of that fine line between love and hate. It also warned me how quickly one's life can spiral out of control when one is driven solely by vengeance and obsession. So let this be a lesson to you, boys and girls. In fact, this book was kind of like Fatal Attraction on steroids. And what's interesting is that there aren't any likable characters, but strangely enough, you found yourself almost rooting for Juliet, which was a tad shocking when you realize that you're cheering on a crazy pants psycho stalker. Her personality just kind of sucks you in, and the author wrote the story in such a way that you couldn't help but empathize with her, even though you know that what she's doing is so wrong. This fact definitely highlights the author's skills as a writer. Yes, she's unstable, but I couldn't get enough of her. And this is another one of those stories that's kind of like a car crash. You can't bear to look, but yet you can't tear your eyes away. So all in all, this book is bonkers, but in the best of ways. It's a compelling and twisted psychological thriller about obsession that's out of control and taken to the extreme. Featuring mind games, devious manipulation, revenge, and fixation. It's a story in which an unhinged and relentless young woman sets out to remind her ex that she is indeed the perfect girlfriend. So I thought it was extremely well written and engaging with intensely strong characterization. Now this would easily have been a 5-star read for me if it wasn't for the ending. So those of you who've been following me for a while know that I typically like neat endings where everything is wrapped up. I can't help it. I'm a closure junkie. I like things neatly tied up with few questions remaining when I close the last page. And it's often been my experience in the thriller and suspense genre that the authors often like to leave the reader with ambiguous endings. And such was the case with this book. And a little bit of an anticlimactic conclusion left me feeling a tad frustrated and wanting for more, a little bit underwhelmed at the end. So don't hate me, I am what I am. But so thus I ended up knocking off 1 star for the vaguish kind of ending. But other than that, this was an excellent standout novel that I heartily recommend. It was a fantastic debut novel, and I will assuredly be reading more by Ms. Hamilton, so I hope she comes out and keeps writing. Now, in the spirit of disclosure, I did receive an advance reader copy of this book from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review, and as always, all opinions are my own. So that is it for my review of The Perfect Girlfriend. If you like this video, I'd appreciate you click the like button below and subscribe if you haven't, and click the bell icon to get notified whenever I release new videos. And that is a wrap. I will talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.